Hello guys, welcome to the show. Listen, we got an awful lot happening in the financial world today, and so we're going to get right into it. Let's start the charts right here. And first thing we're going to take a look at is the silver price today, because it's a mover and shaker today. It's a mover and shaker because of what's happening geopolitically in the world right now. We got the silver price going up, and there's a number of reasons why. First off, this rally in the dollar, I expected the dollar to go back. I've been saying for a few days now, I'm expecting the U.S. dollar to drop back to 91 on the dollar index. And when the dollar starts to drop back, I expect silver to rally. And this is kind of what I'm expecting, a silver rally, and not a real rally as in going to break away, but a rally back up to 17 bucks again. And any victory that we can get in silver at this point is a victory we're going to take. So if we can get back up to $17 an ounce, we're going to take it, because right now we're languishing back at $16.50. So I think we're going to be looking at a 50-cent raise in the price in silver when the dollar drops back to 91 on the U.S. dollar index, which I think is going to happen pretty darn soon. That being said, Bitstamp, Bitcoin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is 92.71. Bitcoin is deemed by an awful lot of people in the world right now as a safe haven asset, like gold or silver. Big mistake. Right now, cryptocurrency is a speculative investment because its practical use in the real world is very limited. As of right now, other than something that people are buying to speculate in, and they're holding to speculate in. When you break down that confidence, and that confidence would not be very hard to break it down, because if people see the price falling on Bitcoin, continuing to fall on Bitcoin, then their confidence in it will be shooken very quickly. You'd be surprised how many of your friends will come out of Bitcoin when they see the price fall and fall. Their confidence will be shook and they'll actually come out. And then if you stay in, you're going to, after a while, after you see it fall, you're going to start saying to yourself, hey, you know what? I made a mistake holding this stuff, and this is what can happen, really seriously. But let's look long term. Look 5 years out, look 10 years out into the future. Cryptocurrency is really going to take off, and it's going to be a replacement for the fiat currencies. But that's quite a distance in the future. Look at this thing like the light bulb. When the light bulb was first coming in, it was not accepted readily, right quickly. People didn't trust electric power. They didn't trust the light bulb. They used to have lamps in those days run on oil, and they trusted that, and they liked it. And that's what they used, and they were used to that. They were used to lighting their lamps in the evening. And it was hard to break them away from that for something better, which is the light bulb. Now, we're used to light bulbs. We wouldn't go back at this point, to lamps, because lamps are antiquated and they're not as good. Well, look at the credit card system we got there now. It's not as good as what's coming with the cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are going to revolutionize the way we send money across the internet. And so this is going to win in the end, but it's going to take 5 or 10 years. It's not going to happen overnight. Meanwhile, right now, we're stuck with something that's a new invention. It's really great, but there's not a lot of practical use for it yet, other than speculative investment. And this is what we have. So anyway, let's take a look at bonds and rates here. The bond is going up just exactly as I predicted. I said it would go back over 3%. She's back over 3% and rising. I don't think it's going to fall this time. I think it's up to stay, and I think it's going to continue to go higher. Bond yields are moving up, but not just in the United States, but in the UK, we see the bond yields going up as well. Bond yields around the world are going to be going up. The bond market is going to continue its crash. We got a crashing. It's going to crash. It hasn't really crashed yet, but it's coming. And the thing is when this happens, you're going to see everything go into turmoil. Everything is going to be connected to the bond market. Everything's going to go into turmoil. The stock markets are going to start to crash. And this is not that far down the road. Right now, the stock market's running between a certain range. Now, the stock market's not quite open yet. I'm waiting for it to open. It's 10:30. I'm kind of waiting for like 10:32. We'll go take a look at the Dow Jones right now and see. At close. No, it hasn't opened yet. Let me refresh the page. Okay, market open. Here we go. She's open. She just opened. It's up 73 points on the day so far. Now, it's running between a range. 24,786 is the high end where it meets resistance. And the low end is 23,000. And it's running between that range right now. That's what it's doing. It's going to continue to do that probably until the bond market hits 3.25% on the 10-year. And right now, it just passed 3%. It's on its way up. See? Okay, so go back to the bond market. We'll focus in on this 10-year real quick, and I'll show you exactly what it's doing. Here we go. Here's the 10-year, and we can see she's starting to curve upwards again. This is exactly what I expected. It's following this trend line upwards, just like this. And you can plot it out. We're like, if I extend this chart out a little bit, it's going to continue to follow this trend line right up like that. That's the way it's going. So if you plot it out, you can probably figure 3.25% in about, I don't know, the rate is going, what, a couple more months, 2 or 3 more months down the road? 3.25%. It puts the stock market crash squarely now in this fall. That's when it looks like it's coming. Looks like the market crash is coming sometime this fall. Anyway, it's going to be a bad market crash, guys. And the point in the market crash, when the market crash finally hits, the point I want you to look for is 20,000 on the Dow. When the Dow drops below 20,000, something amazing is going to happen. Fear is going to enter the market. Real, tangible, palatable fear everyone can feel around the world. And the market is going to be in the news then at that point. Right now, it's not. Most people don't pay attention to it. I know you guys do because you guys that watch my show pay attention to the market. But there's an awful lot of people out there that don't pay any attention to the market. Their attention's going to then be focused on the market. Because we're going to have, once it drops below 20,000, and it's going to be still falling like a stone. What's going to happen then at that point is that's when cryptocurrency, the fear is going to enter into the market, and they're going to turn on cryptocurrencies, and they're going to drop them. And they're going to rush to gold, silver, and the dollar at that point. And so we're going to see a rally in the dollar. I'm expecting it to go to 96 on the dollar index during that rally, and I'm expecting gold and silver prices to start to shoot upwards. Now, what's going to happen is at a certain point, the rally's going to end for the dollar. When the Fed comes in, and probably the stock market's going to get down to around probably 15,000, maybe 16,000. The Fed's going to come rushing in to the rescue, and they're going to open up these new monetary programs like quantitative easing, and everything's going to come back monetarily. They're going to turn into doves, and they're going to change everything they've been doing now. All this tightening is going to be over. And it's going to be back to a loose monetary policy again. Worse than ever. What's going to happen is the stock market's going to continue to fall even when they first instate these new loose monetary policies. For just a short period of time, the stock market will continue to go down, and it'll probably reach a bottom of around 12,000. Then it's going to turn and start to come back up. That bottom's not going to last long. That bottom is of 12,000, it's going to bounce back like 1,000 points. You know, it's going to have one of these bounce back things where if you can hit it to buy when it's down at 12,000, the Dow Jones, then it's going to bounce back and you're going to make a lot of money. Because what's going to happen then is we're in for the biggest rally in the history of the stock market. Really. After the stock market, after this crash is over, we're in for the biggest stock market rally in the history of stock market. Dow Jones 100,000. Really. Because we're heading into a hyperinflation. And the hyperinflation is going to drive everything but the dollar. The dollar is going to die. Everything else is going to live. Gold and silver is going to be the biggest recipient along with cryptocurrency. It's going to drive them through the moon. It's going to drive the stock market up too, though. But valued in the dollar, what's it worth? Even though the Dow goes up to 100,000, what's it worth valued in the dollar? I mean, at that point, because the dollar is going to be in hyperinflation. And it's hard for us to actually grasp that the dollar is going to be losing value that badly. But I'm going to tell you what. I was at the store yesterday, and they sell cakes in our store. They sell cakes, and these cakes used to be roughly 10 inches long, and they used to be roughly 3 inches thick, or 4 inches thick, I should say, about 4 inches thick, about 10 inches long, and they weighed about 2 pounds, and they were $1.99. Now, this was like 3 years ago. They were $4.38, I think it was, now, and they were cut 2 inches off the length of them. They're 2 inches shorter than they used to be. They were 1.5 inches thinner than they used to be, and they only weighed half as much as they used to weigh. Right? So you're only buying half as big a cake for twice as much money. So that's like the 4 times the price. And that fits right on exactly what it is, because the dollar has lost roughly, here in Canada, the dollar has lost roughly 75% of its purchasing power in the last 5 years, roughly, about, more or less. It's losing about 20% per year. They're saying that that our inflation rate is only like nothing. And our inflation rate is actually monstrous here. Monstrous. Inflation's monstrous here. We're already experiencing the not a hyperinflation, but a serious level of inflation here. In America, they're experiencing some inflation, but it's more like stagflation. Well, where some parts of the economy things are costing more, and other things are costing a little bit less or the same. But this is where they've been going for ever since 2008 until now. But we're getting ready for a little short period of deflation. Anyway, I'm straying from the subject matter. Let me get back on track here. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index. 93 right now on the U.S. dollar index. Now, I'm expecting this to drift back down to 91 over the next little while. I think this short rally is almost over in the dollar, and I think we're going to go back down to 91. Over the next little while, and I think what we're going to see is we're going to see silver creep back up to $17 when the dollar goes back down to 91. So I think we're going to see about a 50-cent increase in the price of silver. But this is not our breakaway. This is not silver breaking away yet. I say yet because our breakaway in silver is coming. You remember I said 20,000 on the Dow. That's when our breakaway in silver is coming. When the Dow hits 20,000. And that's going to happen probably this fall. So we're probably looking at cryptocurrency market capitalizations today. We're looking at $431 billion, Bitcoin at 36.6% dominance. And we're looking at all the cryptocurrencies starting to turn upwards right now. Now, they're at a bottom right now, but they're starting to turn up a little bit. And so what's a good buy out there? Well, Litecoin looks really good today. At $157 each. They look like they're a pretty good buy. If you're into buying cryptocurrencies. Now, right now, like I said, I think cryptocurrencies are in for a bit of a fall coming up when the stock market hits 20,000. But until then, we're probably looking at that they could actually stay pretty darn strong until then. You're going to get one last buying opportunity in cryptocurrencies. that's coming up. And if you don't take advantage of it, you're going to be taking advantage of the buy of a lifetime. That's when the stock market drops below 20,000. We're going to get a little crash in cryptocurrencies. That's the last crash. And there's going to be a competition between the centralized cryptocurrencies and the decentralized ones. And the decentralized cryptocurrencies are going to win in the end. So these are the coins that's going to win, and they're going to become the whole world's financial system, ultimately, in the end. And they're prepared for this. These coins are prepared for it. Just Bitcoin alone could take over the world's whole financial system. In fact, just one Bitcoin, if you extend the decimal point out, and you were to put in all the networks and stuff like your Lightning Network and everything else, where I heard talk that over 1 million transactions per second Bitcoin's capable of after they scale it up. Right now it's at 7 transactions per second. And it's doing a pretty darn good job at 7 transactions per second, but they can scale it up to over 1 million transactions per second. So that, yes, you can buy a cup of coffee with it in the end. Just one Bitcoin, forget the millions that they have, but just one Bitcoin, extend the decimal point out, could handle all the world's everything. All the money in the entire world could be absorbed by one Bitcoin. And it could become the money for the entire world. The thing is now take a look at all these coins. They're all poised and ready to take over and become the new currency of the world, and forget about your old fiat. Why use your old fiat when this stuff's so quick and easy and can travel like lightning through the internet? You know, this stuff is so much better. And I used cryptocurrency quite a while, and I've never had a transaction fail. When you send a transaction, if you've got that number right, I mean, if you paste the wrong number, of course, your transaction could fail. But as long as you got that number pasted in there right, and you check the first 4 digits, check the last 4 digits, make sure the number matches, and you hit send, and that thing goes out over the internet, you can leave your wallet closed, and it'll stay floating around there in cyberspace, and it'll land in your wallet every time. As soon as you open your wallet up and you sync your wallet up, bingo, that money will come flying into your wallet, and it never fails. Why a system that works that efficiently, why should it fail as being money? Because you can send money across the internet. Let's see you send real physical gold across the internet. You'd never get it there. They'd stop it at the border and steal it from you. But it's almost impossible to steal this stuff. This stuff can actually get through borders and go anywhere it wants to go. And they don't know what to do with it, because when you install a wallet on your computer, you are becoming your own bank, quite seriously. And the banking system right now is scared shitless. They don't know what to do, because they know that each and every person that downloads a wallet, and the wallets are actually free. You can download a wallet, install it on your computer, and you are your own bank. Why do you need banks anymore with this stuff? So they're scared. They want to compete with it now. They've tried to quash it. They can't quash it. It's growing like a weed. They can see it's getting out of control. Guys like Jamie Dimon are really upset, want to get rid of it. But they know they can't get rid of it, so now they're thinking, well, we'll compete with it. We'll put out our own cryptocurrencies, and we'll have control then. We'll have control over the cryptocurrency, and we'll become the new banker of the cryptocurrency, and we'll be in control over it. But it's going to fail miserably, because those cryptocurrencies that they create are going to be centralized, and they're going to go head-to-head against these decentralized cryptocurrencies. And, you know, whenever anything goes head-to-head against Bitcoin or its compatriots, it always loses in the end. The price keeps going up and up and up on these decentralized cryptocurrencies, and the price on everything else goes down. Ultimately, it's a monetary black hole that's going to suck up the value of everything in the world. And if you take a look at what Bitcoin price is done over the past few years, you can see that that's where this is ultimately going. But there's going to be one more buying opportunity, I believe, coming up, and what's going to cause it is this market crash. is going to cause one last buying opportunity in the cryptos. Give you one last chance to get in there ahead of everybody else before all the masses pour in. And if you wait until all the masses pour in, you will have lost out, and you won't be able to get enough of this stuff to make you rich. But you can get enough of this stuff to make you rich. And believe it or not, I don't think it's going to take very much to make you rich, because this stuff is going to have to be distributed worldwide amongst the masses as money. It's going to be the new money, the money of the 22nd century. Like our kids' kids are going to be using this stuff seriously. So anyway, let's take a look at one last thing here. Iran nuclear pact. That's having an effect on the oil price. Oil has been doing rather well. Let's take a look at oil. Here's oil at $70.78, and I think oil wells will come back on production. But if we get some sort of a war in the Middle East, that won't matter, because Texas can't supply all the oil for the world. No matter how much they keep pumping, no matter how many more wells they put online, the world needs more oil than Texas has got. And if these countries in the Middle East start fighting, and the oil gets cut off coming out of these countries from these OPEC countries, I mean, Venezuela ain't producing much anymore, and there's one of the biggest oil fields on earth. And Saudis, they'll have us right where they want us. And okay, look at them burning the flag here in Iran. Look at them. Absolutely disgusting. Look at this. Okay, guys, listen. Thank you for listening to this market report. And stay tuned, and we'll have another market report for you guys coming right up tomorrow. Very interesting times we live in right now. And like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye.